Every generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. You know, the weird thing about getting older is that you hear the same recycled shit again and again, and at some point it hits you. None of this is new. Same complaints, different people, different decades.
We were different.
Kids these days.
And I'm talking about things like, this generation is weak, or back in my day.
Kids these days just aren't very ambitious.
Or we were built different. And every time I hear it, I'm thinking like, man, I heard the same exact shit when we were kids. Just different people saying it. I heard it when I was a kid. I hear it now as an adult, and I'm pretty sure I'll hear it again when I'm old. I just hope I won't start repeating it myself, which I probably will. It always sounds confident, always sounds obvious, but I don't think I'll buy it anymore because people have been saying the same exact thing forever. Every generation thinks that it's standing at the edge of collapse. Like, this is the one. This is when it all goes downhill. Kids these days are weaker, culture is dumber, the world is falling apart. And somehow, the same exact thought has existed for thousands of years, which should already make you suspicious. And once you notice that pattern, you can't unsee it. Because every generation believes two things at the same time. That they're smarter than the ones before them and more disappointed in the ones after them. Every generation thinks it's either completely screwed or morally and intellectually superior. The older ones say, we were tougher, and the younger ones say, you destroyed the world. Different words, same instinct, and that instinct didn't start with us. Let's start with 1800s. In 1837, Russian poet Mikhail Lermontov said these lines in his poem Borodino. Yes, there were men in our time, not like the present generation, real heroes, not like you. That's not modern commentary, and that's not social media. That's 19th century poem by a Russian poet. And the point isn't that Lermontov was right. The point is that he was confident. Because the generation he was talking about didn't end history. They didn't collapse society. They became the past. That same past that later generations will look back on and romanticize. Let's go back even further. Over 2000 years ago, the Roman poet Horace wrote these lines. Our sires' age was worse than our grandsires. We, their sons, are more worthless than they. So in our turn, we shall give the world a progeny yet more corrupt. In plain language, our parents' generation was already worse than our grandparents, and we turned out even more useless than them. And the next generation will probably be even more messed up. It's just same fear and same certainty and same belief that decline is always already happening. And this is what's actually going on. We don't remember the average people from the past. We remember the ones who survived, the ones who built things, the ones who left something behind. We don't remember the confused ones, the anxious ones, the people who struggled, failed, or just lived quiet, ordinary lives. History filters them out. So when we look backwards, it looks like everyone used to be tougher because only the tough ones made it into the story. That's called survivorship bias. Hard times don't automatically make strong people. And here is another thing we get wrong. We love saying hard times create strong people, but that's only half true. Hard times also create trauma, they create fear, they create people who normalize suffering and call it character. Every generation adapts to the world it's born into. Different world, different skills. Survival doesn't always look like strength from the outside. Human nature does not reset every 20 years. Some people are good, some are selfish, some are reckless, some are thoughtful. The ratio has never changed. What does change is technology, environment, tools, social pressures. So behavior looks different, but people aren't worse. Blaming a generation is blaming the most visible idiots and pretending that they represent everyone. That's it. That's the argument. And even our idea of masculinity isn't eternal. In ancient Greece, having a huge penis wasn't a flex. It was seen as a lack of self-control. Look at the statues, gods, heroes. Restraint was the ideal. And it's the same with everything else. In early 20th century, pink was considered masculine, color suitable for boys. So what I'm trying to say is, kids didn't change, the playground changed. And the internet poured gasoline on the playground. Anyone can say what they think, and thousands of people can see it instantly. So when you hear comedians or podcasters say you can't make jokes anymore, so what they really mean is this: they're not used to getting pushed back on. It's not that people suddenly became fragile, it's that people being joked about finally get to respond. And that response is public. And when that happens, it doesn't feel like criticism, it feels personal. Especially when the entertainer is used to having the bigger audience, the bigger platform, and a final word. What changed wasn't human nature. What changed was technology. That doesn't mean people aren't dealing with real pressures today. And labeling an entire generation as weak, fragile is just a lazy shortcut. Once you notice the pattern, it's everywhere. You hear the same phrases every time. This generation is soft. We didn't have it easy like they do. Back in my day, we worked for everything. They're glued to their phones. They don't appreciate anything. And eventually it turns into, this generation is ruining the society. Everything is going downhill. There are no real men anymore. People said it in ancient Greece. They said it in Rome. They said it during the Industrial Revolution. They said it in 1960s. They said it in 1990s. And they're saying it now. And I think the hardest part of all this is realizing how easy it is to fall into the same trap. I catch myself doing it too. I'll hear someone younger talk or act or care about something I don't understand. And for a split second, I feel that old instinct kick in. That quiet thought, man, we were not like that. That's ridiculous. Fucking kids these days. Because this isn't a generational problem, it's a human one. And if one day we end up destroying ourselves or the world we live on, it won't be because of one generation. It'll be because of all of them. Because collapse doesn't happen overnight. It's built slowly, decision by decision, shortcut by shortcut, compromise by compromise. It'll be because everything that came before them, they'll just be the ones pulling the trigger, but the weapon was built slowly, piece by piece, over centuries. By people who never thought it will go off in their hands. And that's the part that matters. Because every generation inherits something unfinished and adds a little more to it without even realizing where it's headed. Because we're human and we're learning as we go through trial and error, through mistakes. And maybe the best thing we can do is hope that the next error isn't the one that ends it all.